across the region by heading to the Sports tab at
Pro, college, and high school sports around South Central Wisconsin. Here are these heroes. Really heroes?
Just proving the hero that I am, just in the nick of time to be tortured for all of your enjoyments at home.
Okay, here are these heroes now. Broadcasting live on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hello and welcome to the Dam Sports Show here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's Wally Lukashinsky talking to you from Chair 1 today because Corey Sparks is under the weather, so we have to cross our fingers that we get him back here before long. But doing his service and stepping into that role today is none other than Charlie Dern. Feel like we had a similar thing last year very early on. We got to talk football right away. It's the perfect time to have you, Charlie, though. Because what? We just finished week 1 of the college football season. It's Packers week 1 here on the other side of this. How are you doing today? And I appreciate you sitting in here for Corey.
Yeah, thanks. Do I get to be Mr. Smooth then? Is that how that goes?
I think you have to then be Mr. Smooth, right? Because,
Okay.
I mean, you're already in a hero. Like, we have alternate hero step in, so you already have that title that you get to wear today.
All right. Well, I'll take it. I think the last time I was on, if it was during football season, I think we were talking about the Badgers' chances against Bama, and we were really looking forward to that game, and well, not so much now.
Well, see, but this time around, now all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute.
Wait.
You and I were hanging out on Saturday, and we were just more or less enjoying that football was back. And we didn't expect, at least I can't say that I did, that Florida State would beat that Bama team that Wisconsin is going to be traveling to in about 10 days' time, or just around 10 days. Math is a little shaky for me early into a show. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, Charlie. I was kind of drinking the Kool-Aid last year. Now we're getting into that point again. Why can't they go into Tuscaloosa and get a win?
Why can't they?
Why can't they go in there and get a win? Why can't they be 3-0? I said 5-1 at the end of 6 weeks. Looking at this, this feels like, ironically, talking Florida State, the fall off that we've all been praying for around the United States. It feels upon us. Why can't the Badgers walk in? Well, we'll get to the Badgers. I know I'm kind of doing a bad job here as a host because I didn't really set the table for what's coming up today because we have to talk about week 1 of the college football season. I'll be happy in a little bit in block 2, how we feel about the Badgers, taking a little temperature check early in the season. But before that today, we got to get going by talking a little bit of Micah Parsons, because we had kind of been believing, or at least, again, hand up, I can, that the back injury that had him sidelined in Dallas, I was like, complete make-believe. This is the James Harden thing. Now it sounds like he might have to take an epidural to play in week 1, but he's playing in week 1, right?
He'll play in week 1. I don't know where all these doctors are spawning from on Twitter. Everyone's like, oh, this is actually really serious. He's going to miss significant time. The L3 and L4. Everyone knows what the L3 and L4 vertebrae are now.
Naturally.
Of course. And they're showing like these plays in practice where he's lifting like 200-pound sleds. If your back was in that serious of pain where you need to take an epidural, I think he wouldn't be doing that in practice. I think he wouldn't be going about it that way. I think it'd be a lot more going about it slowly, and they're really trying to work him back into football shape. But no, they're going right at it with him.
It makes me laugh, though, because you talk about, I imagine the same video I saw with him in the sled with the explosion. The pad is like 10 feet in the air, and he just seemed completely like non-bothered by it. It wasn't like, wait a minute, I'm a little ginger now. It feels like this definitely is the back end of the, hey, I was trying to, get a contract extension in Dallas. That was why I was missing. I'm not like even remotely putting it into the world that he wouldn't play week 1. There's like no shot he doesn't play.
No, and his agent came out and said it's fine, and it was definitely Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys team being like, we just got killed last week for that trade. Like, we have to float something out there that makes people, because all of a sudden it was like Diana Rossini, Adam Schefter, a couple others, all at the same time released this info about his L3 and L4 vertebrae. I don't believe it for a second. I'm sure he has an injury. It's probably, the L3 and L4. I just don't think it's nearly as significant as it's being made out to be. I think he's fine. He'll play week 1. I don't think he'll play like full, like every down, every snap. I don't think that necessarily. He hasn't practiced much all summer. But I think he's going to be there. And when he comes out of the tunnel, it's going to be unbelievable. Lambeau's going to explode. I'll be there, boots on the ground.
Oh, you'll be boots on the ground for the opener?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be unbelievable there.
What are you expecting from week 1? If you're talking about, because from Micah Parsons, let's start with him first before we branch out into the actual matchup with Detroit coming up here very quickly. Not knowing the defense, having to step in, coming off this quote-unquote, and I mean quote-unquote, back injury. Is it fair to say that, all right, maybe week 1, we're just happy to see him in that Packers uniform, and anything else that happens is gravy?
Yeah, I definitely don't think they need to, be risking him. I think if they're going, it depends on what they actually think and what their actual, scouting is on his injury. But I think it'll be like third downs. He's definitely out there. And situational, more like that instead of, first, second, third down. I don't know if it'll necessarily look like that, especially when, all offseason long they've been operating without Micah Parsons or without even the idea that he'd be on the team. And so they did have, plans going. But we'll see. I think the Lions' offensive line is going to be down this year. Overall, I think the Lions are going to have a down year compared. So it's a really great opportunity for the Packers to just really jump out in front to start the year.
Well, I tell you what, too, because you on our ESPN TikTok, Beaver Dam TikTok, which I highly recommend you go out there. Dobes has been unbelievable. Ashley Dobrzinski getting that up and running. Goes around the office today. What's your big, bold NFL prediction? You just put your money where your mouth is on 2 fronts. What did you say? I don't want to steal your thunder this morning. What did you say about the Detroit Lions, the Motor City Kitties?
It's not even that bold of a take. The more and more that I think about it, saying
I thought it was pretty bold.
Well, would they win 13 games last year? Saying they're going to regress isn't crazy.
Did you not say on the record they're going to miss the playoffs?
I did say that, yes. So I have the Packers and Bears finishing 1-2. Yeah, I guess that is a little spicy, completely missing the playoffs. I don't think that 3 teams from the NFC North will be able to get out of or make the playoffs. I just think that they're going to kind of cannibalize themselves like the Big Ten or the SEC do in college football. I think the Bears are going to be a lot better than people think, or at least people in Wisconsin are willing to say. I think they're going to look a lot better. They're going to look more dynamic. So I think the Packers and Bears finish 1-2 with the Lions third, just on a regression year.
Well, and you saying that the Bears are going to come in second, you said top 2 NFC North teams make the postseason. So there's that opportunity. We've seen a lot over the last 20 years. The Packers and Bears playing the postseason, typically pretty fun results here for the Cheeseheads. So you're saying that the Chicago Bears, they're going to the playoffs this year, the Yoffs?
I do think so. I think they actually could make a run with their offense if that's really, because they have a really strong defense already. It just was a matter of coaching last year. If Ben Johnson is what everyone thinks he's supposed to be, I think they could actually make some noise this year.
Wow, I'll make the noise call.
I'm up on the Bears, but then my buddies from college, they would say that I've been saying this for the last 2 or 3 years, because that is true. I have been hey, the Bears are going to be kind of frisky this year, and it hasn't really worked out, which I'm totally fine with. As a Packers fan, let's not get it twisted here. I think it ultimately comes down to I have a lot of friends from Chicago, and they are so miserable and bitter and sad that ultimately I think I've come around. That I'm I want you guys to be happy for once.
Wow, you're actually rooting for them to be happy.
I'm not rooting for. I wouldn't be upset if they were a little bit happier.
That's a little sad. No, maybe for you, but I wonder how you're feeling the other way if you're a Chicago Bears fan, hearing that we have Charlie Dern actually pitying you at this point.
I have a buddy who unfollowed the Bears official Twitter account. He was like, I'm done with this. I can't do it anymore.
My dad unsubscribed from email alerts one time for the Cincinnati Reds, and that's the closest I can think of right there.
Exactly.
That's what entering free agency as a fan.
Mm-hmm. And so when they're just always defeated like that, and then versus I'm Super Bowl every year, it starts to wear on them.
Well, see, talking about expectations, we haven't talked to you since we had the Micah Parsons news. You were the one that actually broke it to us, running down this studio. Micah Parsons is a Packer. I felt the excitement. I felt the juice, and you just mentioned the Super Bowl. What is fair to expect as a Green Bay Packer this season, or a fan, with Micah Parsons coming in the fold, Toyota-thon love, hopefully lasting for an entire 17 weeks? What is fair to expect?
Yeah, no, thanks for giving me the scoop on the breaking the news there. Big J Journalism broke that news to you guys. I couldn't believe it. I thought that Tyler in our office was pulling a prank, making fun of me or something, just trying to get my hopes up. Wasn't the case at all. It was so real, and every day, seeing him in the uniform was like, all right, it officially, truly did happen. And then, of course, that's about 2 hours later. That's when the news broke. Oh, it's actually a very serious back injury. Uh-oh.
He might never walk again.
Yeah, come on, what are we doing?
No, we're in lockstep at least on that. I have no reservations, even if we get the questionable injury designation for the first 6 weeks of the year that he's clearly okay in playing with. My question is that when you look at him, if he is on the field for 17 weeks, God willing, it's hard for me to say anything short of an NFC championship, and odds are you're saying an NFC North championship or NFC North crown. This has been a failure of a season.
Yeah, I would say that if they don't at least win one playoff game, definitely a failure, but I'd say at least the championship game has to be where the bar is set now. That's what they are saying with the move. They're saying we've got a team that's capable of doing this. We're going for it now. That's why they did it, so that's where they should be. I saw a stat, something like the 49ers. In the last 20 years, they've either made the conference championship game or not made the playoffs at all. That's kind of the standard, not necessarily with the not making the playoffs part of it, but
making that NFC title game.
We got to go for it. We can't just, the Jordan Love's first year where we beat the Cowboys, and then the words that we were using was house money. House money, it's house money now. It's all a cherry on top. We can't have that mindset at all this year. It has to be we're going for it.
Yeah, even last year when you get into the playoffs and you play Philadelphia, there was this reservation or resignedness of, well, they're going to win. Well, that's okay. We'll have to take this offseason very seriously. And then for about 6 months in the offseason was kind of quiet. And you add Aaron Banks, you're fired up. Wow, at least I guess that's a solid guard. It was the Micah Parsons move when you finally felt like this regime was putting their money where their mouth was, that they are going out and saying it's not good enough to make the first round of the playoffs and lose year in and year out. You're not the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's what it felt like it was starting to blossom into. If you don't make the NFC title game now, that's where I wonder about Coach LaFleur, where you worry about Goody. If Ed Policy at this point has almost been won over by the aggressiveness of getting this move, that they almost bought themselves a little extra credence if they do fail to get there this year. But it feels fair to say at this point, this is the highest that the Green Bay Packers' expectations have been since probably, the COVID year? Maybe even before that?
Probably, yeah. That whatever year it was that we ended up losing to the Niners with Rodgers still on the team.
Oh, the one at home. I think it was even 2021, I think.
That felt like a Super Bowl year for sure.
That's one where you go back and you still even look at the box score and you can't figure out how that they didn't even win the game. I think they're up 10 in the fourth quarter. It's snowy Lambeau. You have a blocked punt. It's not happening this year. I tell you.
Well, and when we acquired an edge rusher with a back problem that year, Zadarius Smith. Or maybe that was a couple years different, but still. I mean, now Micah Parsons is bad according to the media and people on the internet. He's actually not very good.
We heard from Hunter Vaughn 20 minutes after the trade. And in Hunter's defense, he is a Dallas Cowboys fan. So you immediately go into that protect your feelings mode where it was, well, he's awful against the run. And it's like, oh, you're right. I don't want Michael Parsons on my team anymore because he's not great against the run. They're going to run at him an awful lot. That's great. That's why you have Edgerrin Cooper, who in theory should be taking that step to be another X player on that defense. You have Xavier McKinney in the back end too. You have 3 guys on this defense now that offensive coordinators have to circle and say, where is this player every snap when we get the ball?
Yeah.
And with Micah Parsons, the idea of this constant brain gymnastics of, well, let me tell you why it's not that good. I'm going the other way now. I'm going Reggie White 2.0.
Well, let me see the books first. What's the money going to look like? Come on.
Yeah, $47 million. The salary cap is going up every single year. Every year we do this. And then what happened? Like Jordan Love signs his deal. That's way too much. He's not the top paid quarterback in the NFL. He'll be 8th by the time that the contract is over. It is the same thing with Micah Parsons. Trey Hendrickson's going to be making that money in 2 years. What you have right now for a 26-year-old edge going into his prime, there's a reason Reggie White keeps getting brought up. And I understand that is lofty.
Sure.
That is lofty. But when you're talking about arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, how can you rationalize it as anything other than a home run for what the Packers gave up? I don't understand.
And I don't have any of the numbers to actually prove anything, but there's all these numbers out there that are he's on pace to break this record. He's on pace to do this, and that. And it's all very positive stats that he's on pace to break.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, what he's done to this stage of his career, he lived up to the goal or lofty expectations even going into the NFL draft, where people were saying he can be a generational edge pass rusher, and he's been that. He's overexcelled, and here's the kicker too. Like Reggie White, he's excited to play in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And that's not something that, even with the success the Packers have had, a lot of people don't say, I'm fired up to go play in snowy Lambeau in the winter of a Wisconsin, fall-winter stretch here. That doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So to have somebody like that who's saying, I want these expectations, I see the Reggie White comparisons, and I have to lean into it, there's something exciting to me about somebody that understands what is going to be asked of him, and he's not afraid of it. He's leaning into the limelight.
Yeah, he said not an owner, owned by fans or something like that during his press conference. That got me so fired up. But, hey, I mean, his cap hit in 2032 is $43 million.
Yeah, so, naturally it's an immediate you'd rather have, Kenny Clark still?
I'd rather have the 28th overall pick than that.
Which they always hit on.
Yeah.
28th overall picks are always just like, oh, for sure, all pro. Was everybody was referencing the Family Guy bit. Well, anything can be in the box. Anything could be the 28th overall pick. It could even be Micah Parsons. Right. You know what you're getting with the Packers. This spin zone that almost saved Jerry Jones he's the senile old man that he is. I can't get over it. This is, to me, the reason that the Packer fans should be more excited right now than they have been in an awful long time. And Charlie, we have something really cool that we're going to be doing this fall that you helped us even put together. So huge shout out to you. Well, you can't scoff it off. You do a lot of the back-end hard work here that I get to just sit around and read the paper. But we have our Cover 5 contest coming back. And it's just simple. You can join ESPN Beaver Dam's Corey Sparks and myself in a Cover 5 pool. And it's simple because every week you're going to pick 5 games against the spread. Then whoever finishes with the most points is a weekly winner. And that's, before I keep going in this, that's something that you and I found out when we played this last year for the first time. Yeah. You get points on how they perform versus the spread. So if you had the Packers who are a -2.5, let's say, against the Lions, and they win by 10, you got 7.5 points from that game, Charlie. Mm-hmm. If you pick the Lions in that, you'd lose 7.5. And it's as simple as whoever has the most points at the end of the year is going to win a Chula Vista Resort and Water Park package. A one-night stay in a junior suite that includes Chula Vista Resort Water Park passes for 4 rounds of 18 holes and 2 GPS-enabled golf carts, which is huge because I know that you and we like to get a little too close and it starts yelling at us and get out of here. That's why they got the GPS. They're also going to include a $50 tavern restaurant gift card, 2 Zell Zipline Adventure passes, and 2 $25 dining vouchers. It's a mouthful. I'm almost getting my tongue tied over here even reading that. This goes up all the way through the regular season. So you are going to start here today, September 2nd, all the way up to January 4th. So get in early because those points, you're going to want to stack them up early. But we also have weekly prize winners as well. You have a chance to win an ESPN Beaver Dam hat if you were the highest point getter each week. You must be 18 years or older to enter, and you must hold a valid U.S. driver's license. And here's how you join. You're going to enter code BD2025 After you download the Cover 5 app, that's the Cover 5 app, you're going to click Join League, and then when they ask for a code, BD2025, it's that simple. You do it once, Charlie, and then you're locked in all year.
I didn't put it on there, but it's an $800 value on that Chula Vista trip package that we have. With all that stuff combined, at $800. It's a great value, so definitely hop in. I'll be joining it. I already made my picks for this week.
Did we get a teaser?
Well, yeah, I guess because there's different strategy that you might put into each pick. Like, for example, Philly is an 8.5-point favorite over the Cowboys. I don't think that Philly's going to blow the Cowboys out, but at the same time, if I just think that the Cowboys are going to keep it close, I can only get 8.5 points if they tie. So that's not necessarily the best one to pick out of all of them. But if you think the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to blow out the Atlanta Falcons, then you might want to take that one. So there's different things to consider, but it's a really good time, and we had fun doing it last year as a company.
We had a blast, and it's how long did it take you to pick your 5 games?
Oh, it takes 2 seconds, and it's really easy to navigate.
Yeah, so just get in. That's the hardest part, is you do your initial sign-up. Once you're in, it's going to take you 2 seconds each week. Plug in your picks, and then compete against Corey and myself. And just like in fantasy football, I hate to tell you guys, I'm going to run the table this year. So you better make sure that you come ready to go, because otherwise we ain't going to have any of that. But we're going to step aside for a quick break, and on the other side, we have to talk a little bit about week 1 of college football. It's in the books. How are we feeling, Badger fans? And if we have time, I'd also like to shift over, because the Brewers' magic number is down to 19 games to win the NL Central. We'll discuss what they need to do down the stretch here to get that pivotal #1 seed, or if you want it at all. But we'll find out right on the other side of the break here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
It's not enough for a hospital
And welcome back to the Dam Sports Show here on 1430 ESPN, Beaver Dam, and Daily Dodge TV. The Dam Sports Show is brought to you today and every day by Real Sports Cards in Waupun. It is Wally Lukashenski and Charlie Dern with you today. Corey Sparks is at home recovering, but that doesn't stop this guy. He's still in the chat right now, and similar to us, you can feel that, exasperation on the negativity that has been, just blossoming by some to find something to complain about with the Micah Parsons move, as he says, but guys, Micah Parsons isn't Reggie White. That's a good point. He's not the defense minister, the minister of defense, but I tell you what, he's 26 years old, he's 4 years younger, you go back, you bring in Reggie White, you win that Super Bowl in the 90s, then you go and get Charles Woodson in the late aughts, and you win a title with them. This feels in the same vein, Charlie Dern, and I'm tell you what, I'm buying in all the smoke. I feel like a fool. I'm buying in.
That's one of those things that I think it was all the quarterbacks for 27 when the move happened too. Like, it's just kind of one of those weird things where history just kind of repeats itself.
It does nonstop. I mean, look at even how what the quarterback position has gone for the Packers at the end of their career. We get to look forward to that Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay matchup here coming up in just a couple months. But before that, we have a lot of Saturdays, and we had a beautiful Saturday this last week. Before we actually dive into it, you and I talked a little bit, just even in the break a little while ago here. We got teased. I almost don't like week one having as many juicy matchups as it did, because now I'm like going to be sitting here next Saturday and, wait, it's going to be like Chattanooga against like the top schools. Like, why are we doing this in week two? We almost need week one to be the one where it's just layups early on.
Yeah, all these teams, like all the biggest teams, like Oregon, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, they talk about how they schedule really hard games. But then it's funny, you look at week two and they're playing Grambling State. It's like, wait, that's weird. We just did a week about how you were talking, like you play only the toughest opponents, right?
That's true. That's a good point, because imagining having like the Red Hawks from Miami of Ohio,
that's
and
right.
Follow that up with the Blue Raiders from Middle Tennessee State. That's a big jump in competition.
That's right. You have to play the toughest of opponents. Sure, Middle Tennessee State. Did they lose to an FCS team last week?
Yes,
but that doesn't take away from that schedule.
Yeah, well, when you scheduled Middle Tennessee State, they were a gauntlet down in the Sun Belt, so it makes sense that you'd have them there. But in seriousness, we are looking now after a week where you look at the schedule for the Badgers all offseason, and we talked about how it was this gauntlet. It's scary. And it's going to be a very tough schedule, but some of those games here early on, all of a sudden, you should beat Middle Tennessee this week, and you should see a sizable growth and a good opportunity, too, where you are working in a new quarterback to get him, like, reps before you do have to go to Tuscaloosa, where, yes, they lost to Florida State, and it seems like they are in more disarray right now than we've seen a Bama team in an awful long time. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again. I did it last year. I fell for it. My defense, I didn't expect there to be a catastrophic injury to the quarterback position when they were at Camp Randall. What is the likelihood right now, when we're talking about this Badgers team in 2 weeks' time to the day, that they're 3-0 and they walked into Tuscaloosa and got a win?
Before I get to that, one amazing thing, when they scheduled this home and home with Bama, if they would have thought that, and Bama should be unranked, they are ranked, but if both teams thought that they would both be unranked teams in that game in 2025, that they just wouldn't have said that when they scheduled the game. So that part's crazy. It'll depend on if Billy Edwards gets healthy, if he can play, because from what we saw from QB2 was less than encouraging.
You weren't thrilled by that?
No, I wasn't. There were some throws that it was like flashbacks to when I was learning to play the position in high school, and I was like, wow, like you really lobbed that to the other team. You really did. And they didn't catch it sometimes, which worked out, probably playing a MAC team. But I don't think that he'll get it done against Alabama. I think that it seemed like they're good enough as a team to maybe stay in that game. I think we might have the coaching advantage in that one. From the way that they look now, DeBoer does not look like the guy there. They're not going to be able to get rid of him. It's a $70 million buyout. So Fickle might be able to outcoach in that one. They do have like around the same like recruitment levels, give or take. I mean, Badgers have a lot of 4-stars now, which in the past not necessarily the case. So the talent's closer than in years past. It might come down to coaching, but come on. let's pump the brakes on beating Bama.
Okay, I have two statements, and I want you to tell me if either of them are false. Bama clearly has the talent advantage on the roster.
I would bet that all of their linemen are like about as fast as our wide receivers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then on the flip, though, that the Wisconsin Badgers are more bought into what the Wisconsin Badgers want to be than right now Alabama is down there in Tuscaloosa.
Absolutely, 100% true. Yeah, both things can totally be true. Bama looked dejected. I think more of what we're saying is a critique on Bama than it is like we were encouraged from Wisconsin. 17-0 over Miami. Yeah, your quarterback went out, but there was large stretches of that game where I was like seeing red. I guess literally, but just so upset. Like they opened the game with a 3rd and 7 like inside run, and it was like, what? We've done this already. Why are we doing it again?
We did this before. Well, okay, but the defense on the flip side had allowed 69 total yards going into the final drive of the game. Mm-hmm. Defense looks like they've bought in. It looks like the front four is going to be heads and tails more effective and aggressive this year than they were in the past. The biggest thing for me right now is that they weren't able to run the ball on Miami. And if you weren't able to run the ball on the Red Hawks, you're going to be looking at a Bama team. Follow that up. Yeah, Maryland's probably another one that you really should win. But that's when you get into that October gauntlet that we've talked about. You're going to play teams like Michigan, Oregon, Ohio State. And if you're not able to run the ball, you're not going to win these football games. So next week, to me, I think we're going to know everything that we need to know going into the last 9 games of the year, 3 weeks in.
They just need to win 5 of their next 11. That's all I'm asking them to do.
Just go bowling?
Just go bowling.
Duke
That's
Mayo's
it.
Bowl T-shirts on lockdown. We're
That's
ready?
it. Oh, yeah. I've already got one of those. I'd love to have another.
Well, yeah. Well, another ReliaQuest Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe there's other high-end awards out there like the Alamo Bowl.
That's right. Well, I mean, you've never won a Mayo Bowl.
I can honestly not say that. And it's a glaring weakness in Ohio State's program. It'd be impossible to say anything.
You don't know what it takes.
We don't know what it takes. We don't know what it takes.
But yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, like, nothing changed with my expectation of the Badgers for this year. I still think they're going to be a 5 or 6 win team. Their schedule's just so hard. It's okay. It's fine. I don't think it's like, all right, they don't make a bowl, fire Fickle. They have the hardest schedule in the country, according to PFF and a bunch of others.
Well, he's got a starting quarterback 10 games of his entire coaching tenure with the Badgers.
Right.
And somehow, like, we make excuses nonstop for every sport when it fits our narrative. But as soon as it feels like it goes against it, everybody ignores things like that. Where on the flip side, you talk about, like, the Packers. We've gone to bat for Jordan Love. Like, well, he was banged up. Well, the wide receivers weren't good enough. Well, the defense at that point wasn't good enough in stretches. And then we keep making excuses. But then on the flip for the Badgers, it feels like we go out of our way right now to find what's wrong in the program instead of seeing that this is a team that feels very bought in. Mm-hmm. What did we hear all offseason? It was just glowing reviews of, well, Fickle has the boys fired up. We've never seen him this excited to lift weights, to be, looking to prove people wrong. I'm holding out hope, and I think that in 10 days from now or 11 days from now, whatever it is, I'm going to be delusional, and I'm ready to talk myself into a corner next week because I think that's going to be a fourth quarter game.
Yeah, I think if they win in their next 6 games, if they win 3 of those, so that's like wins over Middle Tennessee, Maryland, Iowa. If you win those 3 games, all of a sudden you're at 4 wins. And then if you win 2 of your last 5 games of the season, you're beating like Minnesota, Washington, or maybe Indiana. Like, those are winnable games. So just win the games that you're at least supposed to be like competitive in. Just win those and look frisky in the games that you're not supposed to win. That's all that I'm asking this year. That's really it. It's been so bad that it just has to get incrementally better year by year, and we'll get there.
I tell you, if we do get to that 7 or 8 win threshold, you start looking at the state of Wisconsin as we shift now to another team that's doing things that nobody expected at least a few months ago. You have the Packers, who feel like Super Bowl contenders. You want the Badgers to get back to bowl eligibility. And currently, you have the Milwaukee Brewers with the best record in baseball and very, very much in play to get that top seed in the NL. And I have to ask you, is now they are playing the Philadelphia Phillies right now for 2 more, and then they're going to have the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, that team, that whatever that you want to call them, the Pirates. Where, at this point, do you feel like the level of importance it is for the Brewers to get that 1 seed, to have home field throughout the playoffs?
Yeah, I didn't realize they don't play tonight after starting the series yesterday against the Phillies.
It's the goofy. It's the same with like the start opening day. It always sets me off. You have an opener on Thursday to start the year, and they'll give you a day off after one day, and I'm like, no. Make it a 4-game series or start on Friday. Why is it that hard? But Labor Day is obviously screwing everything up.
But it actually works really well in the Brewers' favor that they get this break against the Phillies because they need it probably more than any Brewers team that I've seen in the last few years. I've been locked into this team because of how fun they are, and you can just tell watching these games. Like yesterday was clear as day. The arms need rest. The guys in the field, everyone needs rest. They're all tired. They didn't seem necessarily as... They did have a lot of fight yesterday, I thought, but it didn't seem as fired up as they typically can be, especially for a home game. So, I don't know. It's kind of like, don't go for it.
Don't kill yourself to get to the playoffs so that when you're there, you're running on E when you get there.
Right, yeah, because then we'll be looking at like a Warriors Kevin Durant thing where he blows out his Achilles. And obviously a different sport, way different thing. But don't be like pressing the arms to try and get the number 1 seed. Though I have learned in this last year that the number 1 seed in baseball is a significant advantage over others.
Oh, do you know how it is? When you get to postseason play, there's some sports where it just feels like a different game. Baseball and hockey are the two that jump out to my head right away more than anything else. When you get to the postseason, it's tangible. It's a palpable change. And having that, especially with right now, every time you watch AmFam, it is just ruckus. It is loud. It's a fan base. I feel like it's as fired up as that. It's been ever since I lived in Wisconsin, any stretch. This feels special right now. And it makes me wonder, and I guess the last question before we go to break and talk a little bit about the Beaver Dam Golden Beavers, is when you look across the NL right now, is there a team that stands out to you that you're like, I really, really want this Brewers team to avoid them at all costs?
Yeah, I would definitely say playing the Phillies in like a big playoff series would stink. Just the idea of going into Philly and it's just so loud and the fans are crazy and they're so into it. I get it, but that sounds terrible, especially for the Brewers that are a fairly young team that doesn't have a ton of playoff experience. Ultimately, I think my answer is I'm most afraid of them just getting cold. Yeah, because that's what's happened year after year with this team is they'll get really far or they'll have a great year, make the playoffs. I'll hop on board, become a fan, and then all of a sudden they're scoring 2 runs a game, and it's like, what are we doing? I thought
we were supposed to win here.
I thought they hit a lot of home runs and scored 8 runs a game. What happened? Now that I'm watching, yeah. So
I have I'm talking myself in a circle, talking out of both sides of my mouth here, because the team that I think I most want them to play is the same team I'm most afraid of, because I feel like to get over that hump, you sometimes need to slay the dragon.
True.
And I want them to play the Chicago Cubs in the postseason.
Yeah, that would be the dragon.
And if you go and beat them in a best of 5 or wherever it is at that point where you do, I think it would likely be best of 5. You're talking probably a 1-4 matchup. You win that series, it feels like you're talking about a confidence that I don't know if we've ever seen out of a Brewer side. And then I don't care if it's the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani. I don't care if it's those scumbags from Philadelphia. I couldn't care less. I think that if they win the first series this year, the Brewers are in the World Series. I don't see another NLCS where they get heartbroken in 6 or 7 games. It just feels like when they finally get over that hump of winning an opening series, it's going to be what it takes for a group like this. And it's just, there's something in the air right now, and I think I'm just delusionally becoming a Wisconsin homer without even realizing it across the board. But if they win the NLDS, they're going to be playing the last week of October.
So you really dislike your fellow Pennsylvanians that much, huh?
They're the worst side of the state.
They're the same state.
The cheesesteak's the most overrated meal in the world. Everybody makes them great. And then you talk about the best thing that what historical city has ever done is provide a fictional boxer in Rocky Balboa, who the actor's not even from Philadelphia. That's a problem. Start running up the stairs again, Rock.
I don't have anything for that.
Good. I hope you don't. We're gonna step aside for one quick break here. When we come back, we gotta fill you in on what's going on with the Beaver Dam Golden Beavers football team, and of course, we have another edition of Top 3 Plays, courtesy of Mr. Sparks. That's next here on the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
You could hang up an in-season tournament banner for it. The Dam Sports Show, presented by Real Sports Cards in Waupun. This is 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam.
If you're looking for a one-stop shop, attention sports fans. Whether you're chasing the hottest rookie card, that next big autographed sports card, or looking for expert card services, Real Sports Cards is here for you. For everything from sports to Pokemon cards, visit the store in downtown Waupun today. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play and download the Real Sports Cards app for all live online card breaks. Watch, collect, and win from anywhere. Real Sports Cards, where sports fans come to play. Early Dern, one cool thing that you and I got to at least notice today, first time on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, we got to hear Rich Eisen on our airwaves, and that was such a cool blast from the past.
Right.
He's just, when you think about the original sports centers, you think about ESPN back in the day, Rich Eisen's one of those guys that immediately comes to your mind.
The originals, huh?
You're not going to put him in there?
No, I was just kidding.
I was going to say, obviously you got Berman. Obviously, you got guys like Stuart Scott, but he's right in that Mount Rushmore of Tier 1 for me.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And it was a shame whenever, I forget when he left, but it's great to have him back. Obviously, his running thing that he does for charity is amazing, or the 40 that he runs, and he's a great mind. So it's going to be awesome to have him on our airwaves, 12-2.
Yep, 12-2, run, Rich, run. That's what you're referencing there. I love that callback too. And one of my favorite things they used to do on those sports centers were top plays. And we are so lucky now because, again, of the work that what Justin and Corey are able to do here to make this happen today. We're going to throw that over now to the top 3 plays of the week in high school this past weekend.
Your top 3 high school plays of the week. Pattern another set. Hall kept it himself into the end zone. Touchdown, Max Moritz. On the play fake, the tight end got free. And the Golden Beavers retake the lead. Sinha gonna fire from the right side. Oh, and it's intercepted on the far side. This is going to the house, to the 10, to the 5, to the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Beavers. Ashton Seifert.
Yeah, Ashton, a big play. He's been a big play guy since he's been on the varsity.
They are gonna kick it over on the near side to Hiley, who's gonna take it at the 10. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There goes Brock Hiley. He's at the 50, the 40. Brock Hiley is taking it to the house. The 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Golden Beavers.
So this past Friday, the Golden Beavers of Beaver Dam headed over to Menominee Falls, and they fell in a tight one, 22-20. And one of the big takeaways, though, is, again, when you're playing a team that is that much bigger than you, that is coming from a massive conference from you, having that kind of fight to continue to grit and fight. And there, that last one right there, the Brock Hiley 90-yard kickoff return, I almost went horse on that play. I started really believing when you have a play like that, the onside kick's for sure going to happen that next play. But the fight that you got to see, that's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. I was saying it to one of you guys. The coverage that you guys have of the games is unbelievable. I wasn't able to watch, but I was able to follow along just on Twitter, watching the highlights come up, and then I was quickly able to get it up on YouTube on my phone, and it was all easy and great. So you guys do a great job with that. That's an unbelievable play with 45 seconds left in the game. No other, someone's got to do something. Someone's got to make a play. What's Beaver Dam going to call if they get the ball there? Probably Hail Mary, screen passes, desperation type of moves. So that's unbelievable to fight like that in a game where, it's 22-13. It's not looking great. There's less than a minute left. We've got to do something. And they could have really, really easily rolled over and said, hey, game's over. Sorry. Bummer. It didn't work out for us this time. But no, they kept their heads down and they kept fighting, and you got to just give all the props to them for that. I mean, we were just talking about Alabama earlier, giving up when they were down. They gave up. There was plays that you can watch Alabama linebackers jogging over
laughing as the kneel down is happening in the last play.
Right. Those guys just didn't seem to have the heart and have the fight, and Beaver Dam, they clearly do.
Well, and I know that it doesn't feel good. There's no moral victories in football when you fall short. But when you do get to lose a game early in the year, you find out a lot about your team. And you and I, we've both been a part of some teams that have lost games early, as we both are heroes here in the scout team department of high school sports in Wisconsin. So we get to see that. But that request or that bounce back in practice, that's something that especially with your home opener coming up. Brock Lindy's side will be ready to roll this week as they look for revenge against a very good Mount Horeb Barneveld team that beat them last year 13-9 for that first game of the year. But we're going to step aside for our final break now. When we come back, because it is Tuesday, you know what that means. Charlie Dern and I are going to fill in the damn blank. That's next on the Damn Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. Attention sports fans. Whether you're chasing the hottest rookie card, that next big autographed sports card, or looking for expert card services, Real Sports Cards is here for you. For everything from sports to Pokemon cards, visit the store in downtown Waupun today. Go to the Apple Store or Google Play and download the Real Sports Cards app for all live online card breaks. Watch, collect, and win from anywhere. Real Sports Cards, where sports fans come to play. Welcome back to the Damn Sports Show here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. It is Tuesday, so it is time to fill in the damn blank here. Before we do that, though, I do want to mention that if you were trying to watch some high school sports later tonight, right about now, maybe a few minutes ago, you can tune into the Wanakee at Beaver Dam boys soccer game. Coverage started at 4:45 with Wade Bates on the call on Daily Dodge TV. So when you finish up here in a few minutes, hop on over and watch some high school sports. That being said, we're going to start rapid firing these. The Packers will come in blank place in the NFC North.
First place, we went over it. You make a move for Micah Parsons. You're making that move to go and win the division, to go make a run in the playoffs. I think they have the best offense and defense in the division now. So, yep, first.
13 wins coming, first place as well. I'm right there with you, Charlie Dern. Micah Parsons will blank this season.
I wasn't sure where to go with this because I think he's going to just be about even with my expectations because those expectations are so high. As long as he's healthy, I think he's going to have an awesome year. I think he's going to be an all-pro. So Micah Parsons will be an all-pro this season. I don't think that's crazy to say that.
All-pro again, I love that. I had 14 sacks. I think that's a very quick way to get him in that discussion at the very least. The Packers make it to blank in the postseason this year.
Yeah, I think, again, like we said, I think what we have to set our expectation to is the NFC title game. And then ultimately, I do think the Packers can. I'm not saying they will, but if we're playing fill in the damn blank, I'm saying the Packers will make it to the Super Bowl this season.
They're going to? Are you saying win or just get there?
They'll get there. I don't know who they're playing. I think the Ravens are going to be very good. The Bills are going to be awesome. Of course, there's the Chiefs. The AFC's kind of stacked. The Bengals, well, their defense stinks, but the AFC's kind of loaded. So ultimately, I think the AFC's going to have a great year.
All right, and we're going to shift over. Last one for you today. Actually, we'll go two more. We'll go one more rapid fire, then we'll finish with the last one. The return of college football this last weekend had you blank.
Oh, well, and I moved to a new apartment, so it was kind of just like a lot of good things happened this weekend. So the return of college football this last weekend has rejuvenated me.
It gave me a new lease on life.
Yeah.
Again, we felt it there on Saturday. We were lucky enough, you and myself and Dobes were out on the town, got to watch a pretty good football team in the big noon slate kickoff game. It's not a big deal. Ohio State got a win against Texas. It's worth noting there.
Badgers scored more points. That's weird.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
They did.
Better offense?
People are talking all of a sudden. And our last one of the game, the best fall food, Charlie Dern, is fun.
I had to go with buffalo chicken dip, BCD as we call it among my friends. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Can't have it too hot. And shredded chicken, you never know. Some people don't like shredded chicken.
That's true.
Some people just need it the way that they want it, which is very particular, maybe even picky. But yeah, again, buffalo chicken dip is the best fall food.
That's interesting because, like, for me, I have a very specific one. I love an Italian hoagie, but the key is here, Charlie, it can only have pepperoni and salami on that with the cheese. No other meats. Again, yeah, call it an Italian hoagie. You're like, no, that makes no sense. You're only getting two things on there. Some of us, no, we're just going to keep it simple, run the football. So pepperoni and salami only with a little cheese.
Isn't that just a pepperoni and salami sandwich?
No, it's an Italian hoagie, Charlie Dern. That's the important thing to remember there. Any other honorable mentions for you?
Ooh, well, of course, wings. I said buffalo chicken dip. Buffalo chicken wings are the best. That was something my buddies and I would do every Sunday in college. We would go and, roll over to the local bar or wherever had wings, order takeout, and just kind of rot on the couch all weekend long watching football. It's the best. That's what I love to do in the fall. When you say it out loud, it doesn't sound as great, but, ultimately what it is.
Well, we're going to end it there. A big shout out to Justin the Ninja Wilski for stepping up and being our producer today. With Corey Sparks on the mend, need a little help. Jack Wilski on the mend as well. We're trying to get everybody back healthy. And shout out to somebody else that was up there shadowing today that I think is really going to like our food choices as well.
Dobes
is in the house. But that's going to do it for us here on the Damn Sports Show. Homer Hour's coming up next. We'll see you back tomorrow. Same time, same place for more of the Damn Sports Show.